Moving on the map now to New York as we wait for the jury to deliver their deliberations. The case to consider is the one against disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. Those deliberations began Thursday. The question they are considering whether Weinstein is guilty of committing criminal sexual acts and rape. So let's bring in Lisa Rozner from CBS News New York. There seems to be some drama unfolding in the jury room. The foreperson sent a note to the judge saying the situation is not good. What do we know about those deliberations?
Well, Reed, yesterday, day 3 of deliberations was quite the scene. The jury sent back several notes, including one that asked for the definition of a hung jury. Another one asked for a readback of testimony from an expert as to why someone who's been sexually assaulted would continue to have a relationship with that person. Now, separately, at least 3 different jurors have asked to speak with the judge throughout the deliberations. One of them saying that some of the jurors are acting like a high school mentality, bullying each other, some bringing up evidence from the past that was not introduced at this trial, which has really gotten the defense fired up. We spoke with Harvey Weinstein's attorney, Arthur Aidala, right after court yesterday.
So we just left Mr. Weinstein, who obviously is quite concerned because with the collective experience that we have here, it is definitely not typical at all to have 3 separate jurors asked to come out and consult with the judge privately. And one juror did it twice. This morning, the foreman came in and he was quite upset, basically saying that evidence that was not admitted at the trial has been introduced into the jury room, tainting the jury. In other words, there are jurors who now have heard information about Mr. Weinstein that the judge specifically kept out of the trial, and it is now in the jury room.
Yeah, so you heard him there reference some of that evidence from the past that one juror said has been brought into these deliberations. He likened it to a juror returning to the scene of a crime, which they're not supposed to do during deliberations. He wants to know, what is that evidence from the past that had been brought up? Was it one of the jurors watching a Netflix special or reading an old article? It's a little bit complicated because the jury is allowed to consider the fact that the news reports from 2017 sparking the Me Too movement are what prompted some of these accusers to tell their story. But at the same time, they're not allowed to look at that evidence or consider it.
So is all of this why the defense called for a mistrial here?
Exactly. That's exactly why the defense called for a mistrial. They're saying the jury is tainted. And they're also saying that because the jurors are bullying each other, that this is all grounds for a mistrial. The judge has denied that multiple times. The prosecution, of course, wants to proceed. And we also heard from Gloria Allred, who is an attorney for one of the accusers. She also feels that everything going on here is within legal guidelines and the jury should continue deliberating.
Even if it were to be a mistrial, it doesn't mean that's the end of the line. It's not unusual that they would ask for readbacks. It's not unusual that they would ask to understand a jury instruction.
And so, Reed, day 4 so far has been pretty quiet. The jury just broke for lunch. There have been no notes so far today. And as far as we understand, these deliberations go on for as long as the judge wants them to. And the jury, it is really up to the judge's discretion. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Lisa Rozner, you can't write this stuff. It reads like a movie, but it is real life in a courtroom. Thank you so much for that update.